You know, when you got Scrubs, obviously I didn't believe this, but I mean, I believe it. But 6 times you auditioned for it, is that true?
Yeah.
But you know, that's a lot. Like that's, I mean, I can understand you go in, they want to see you again, and they want you to test. But that's 6 times. I mean, what did they want to see? What did they want to see from Zach Braff?
Well, that's a very good question. I think I was a waiter, and I didn't have many credits. I had only done a handful of things, but I had nothing they could really look at and be like, oh, he'd just been on this show. And I was up against a couple of known people that I won't say, but I'll tell you off the air. And so I was kind of like, I'm never going to get this. They're going to give it to one of these known guys. But then I kept getting called back. And then I got called back again. And then it was like a work session with Bill, the showrunner. And then it was, okay, we want to see a chemistry with you and Sarah Chalk, who'd already been cast. And then then you know how the end goes. You then go in front of the studio. Apparently they're not doing this like they used to back in our day when we got going. But for those listeners who don't know, when you go to the studio, a studio test, you would then go in front of like 10 to 20 people. And it was so intimidating. Oh. And then if you pass that round, you'd then go to the network where there could be, I remember for Scrubs, it was probably 25 people packed in a small room and all staring at me. And it's like, I remember thinking it's like the Olympics, like it doesn't matter how well you did it at home. It's like you do it now or you die. And it's a ludicrous process because I never understood why you're making the actor sweat so hard. They're not auditioning to be in a Broadway show, you know, where they have to perform live in front of you. They're auditioning to be an actor that's great on set that cuts together well. Right. So why not now? At least when I've done pilots in latter years, there's more like, okay, we'll look at the tape. We don't need to have you come in and do this in a tiny room in front of 30 people, and it's so much pressure.
Well, it worked out.
Yes, it did.
How many seasons was it?
I did 9. We did 9. Yeah.
Good God.
I left a little bit early, so I sometimes say I did 8.5, but we did 9.
Now, obviously, you've directed a ton. You directed the 100th episode. You directed, I don't know, what, 30 episodes, 20 episodes?
No, not that many, actually. I thought it was more, too, and I recently went back and looked, and I think I only did like 7 or so.
Do you remember when you first directed an episode of Scrubs? Were you really worried about, it's like now you're directing these people you've been working with, and that's the scares because you want to make them think he knows what he's doing. Do you remember that first day? Or
I had tiptoed in because here's my tiptoe in was, well, first of all, Bill pretty much made fun of me like a big brother. Our showrunner creator has since become one of my best friends, and he's a mentor to me. But at the time, we had a very big brother, little brother relationship. He was supportive of me and he loved me, but he was tough on me. And I think he had an interest, it seemed, well, he's admitted it in the past, of sort of keeping my ego in check because he didn't want to have a kid who'd become super famous and cocky and ruin his life. So he would do things to bring me down a notch. And I remember that the line producer said that I could direct the music video for this theme song. And I thought that was so exciting. And Bill sort of made fun of me. He said something quip like, oh, well, that should make sure no one ever sees it. And I really felt like shit. And he did it in front of the crew. And I did it. And I said to myself, I need to crush this. I need to crush this to not only show him up and give him the finger, but also so that the cast will trust me so I could one day direct an episode. So I just put everything I had into it, and I made a really cool music video, which I haven't seen in years, but you could check out if you're curious on YouTube. And then what happened was Garden State, this was roughly 2003, then Garden State happened, and Garden State had a record sale at Sundance, and then he had to sort of eat crow and change his whole tune, and then he was like, okay, you can direct an episode.